Hi, Damien again. I want to tell you a little bit of secret about negotiations. I think it's really important to understand the nature of negotiations. Now, I'm not talking about high risk negotiations of life and death type of things. I'm talking about negotiating shared resources towards something that you and the other party wants. Now, you're probably trying to negotiate, say, whether you're going to be going to the beach or you're going to the pool. You're probably negotiating whether you're going to be eating at this restaurant or eating at that restaurant. Or you're negotiating your salary or some big, huge contract deal. Either way, you're trying to understand who's going to be paying for what and who is going to be doing what. There's a little bit of a secret here that I want to reveal. I say this because I negotiate with tons of people all the time in big, huge contract deals. I'm talking millions of dollars. And it's not necessarily about the money. That's the misnomer here. Now, before you hoop and holler and get all upset and say, of course it's about the money. We spend so much, so much money gets wasted, so much money gets, there's tons of millions of dollars that are at stake here. While that may be true, it is not the entire truth. The secret here, before the numerical metrics of the dollar amount, or the time invested, or even the energy invested, it is the narrative. That is the secret. It is the story before the statistics. It is the numbers after the narrative. Now, hear me out. It's not like the dollar amount doesn't matter. It's not like the time invested doesn't matter. Heck, it's not even that the commitment, the energy, the effort that is put into that doesn't matter. What matters is it worth it? Is it worth the time you committed? Is it worth the effort you put in? And is it worth the dollar amount, the money that you put forth toward this negotiation deal or negotiating any kind of distribution of resources? Now, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is understanding why you're getting into a deal, why you're negotiating really matters a lot. Why am I actually across the table from this other individual or this other party? What is it that we're trying to do together? What is it that we're trying to accomplish together? What is the shared goal? That matters significantly. Because if you're not establishing a shared vision or a shared goal, then you will invariably just default to the numerical value, to the metrics, to the statistics, to the numbers. And I'll tell you right now, when it just is all about the numbers, you're actually looking at one of two things. Either that number is going up or that number is going down. The meaning will invariably default back to our base core mental constructs of flight or fight. It is the numbers are either going to represent something we're losing or something we're gaining. This is when we get into this zero sum negotiation arguments that a lot of these negotiations tend to trigger, where they're trying to get more money across the table or actually try to prevent the loss of money. But if you can understand what that money is being invested towards or what that money is being saved for, then that meaning makes it much more valuable and makes it worth it. So, my advice is understand what is the narrative being told in this negotiation deal. You'll understand either the numbers are aligning or they're not. And if you can distinguish what the narrative or the stories that are being told, then you can start to negotiate based upon what is the agreed goal between the two parties, between you and the person across the table. Establishing that shared narrative is so imperative first before you start talking numbers. So I implore you, by all means, the numbers do matter, but please focus on what the numbers represent. That meaning matters the most in any kind of successful negotiation. So, narrative before numbers, stories before statistics. Then you'll have a much, much better chance of everyone being happy. Hopefully, this helps. Again, this is Damien.